Hello, everybody. My name is Ben Collins Asongwe. I am the founder and CEO of DC Advantage LLC. Now, this is a company that exists at the intersection of uh, purpose and AI innovation. Um, Look, there's so many artificial intelligence tools, right? We are in the era of artificial intelligence. Um, my wager is the best use of artificial intelligence is tied to purpose. So individuals and businesses have to figure out this purpose first. It is paramount to be crystal clear about this purpose because it makes aligning an AI strategy, right? It makes implementation of said AI strategy seamless. It's about empowering everybody, right, with the tools that they need to thrive and to succeed. So that's where, in a nutshell, BC Advantage comes in to help individuals and businesses strategically adopt and implement artificial intelligence. Now, the reason I'm making this video is I came across a YouTube of Art Anderson Cooper, right, of CNN, talking to Geoffrey Hinton, who is the godfather of artificial intelligence. I mean, he has gotten a Nobel Prize. This is an individual that has, pioneered a lot of the advancements, ushered in, right, broke ground, if you will, on a lot of the things that we know today about artificial intelligence. So I came across this video, which, they were having a conversation about AI, about the future of AI, and I thought it was interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewatch the video. We are all going to rewatch the video together, but with a special guest, right? Our very own in-house BCAI. So this is our proprietary AI agent, built by BC Advantage LLC. And the purpose of this AI system is essentially one that is thoughtful, is analytical, and empathetic, right? So having conversations that go beyond, right, thinking outside of the box, having mindful interactions, are kind of what differentiate, right, BCAI from any other GPTs, right? Most people don't realize that Chat GPT itself has a store, the same way Google has the Play Store, or Apple has the App Store. Chat GPT itself has a store, right, called the GPT Store. And in there, you can find a variety of GPTs that users such as myself, have built. Again, I built BCAI to sort of be that reflective friend, right? That reflective coach, that reflective partner. The partner with whom you can have mindful conversations, right? If you're not looking for, the quick one word or one sentence type responses, right? But you want to engage in mindful dialogue. This is where BCAI thrives. It is essentially a digital mirror, right? I'm able to help and assist, uh, folks all over the globe, right, by building this agent that sort of mirrors how I approach, life, or how I approach work, how I approach friendships, relationships and things like that. Is again being grounded, being mindful, and just kind of tackling things as they come and as they go. So I'm gonna play the video, right? I'm also gonna turn on BCAI. I'm gonna show you right here how you can access BCAI. But if you use Chat GPT already, you are 50% of the way there. So let me share my screen here, and then I'm gonna do share that screen. Um, so, uh, so let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The seventh option. Uh, okay, let me make sure I'm going to the right screen. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. where you see here, it says GPTs. So for me, it's the sixth option, but depends on the package, the chat GPT package you have. If you have the free version, you may only see new chat, search chats, library, and then maybe you would see this GPT option. So again, when you click on this, it'll bring up this marketplace where you would find a variety of GPTs that other builders have built. So if you search for BCAI, so you can find BCAI in the store. And as I was describing earlier, right, it's an agent that is designed to be thoughtful, analytical, and empathetic. It's an everyday companion. So you can use it if you are in healthcare. If you can, you can use it if you're, in consulting, coaching, whatever field, right? If you enjoy that sort of reflective partner, you should definitely check out BCAI. So I'm going to now open the video and share my screen here. So this is the video of, as I was mentioning, Anderson Cooper and Geoffrey Hinton, right? Who's the godfather of AI. I'm going to have BCAI as well turned on here on the side, and then we would just kind of listen in, and then would have a live reaction, right? This is how I train my model. This is how I interact with artificial intelligence. I really I try to freeze the moment. I try to pause, right, and be here, like with everything that I know about artificial intelligence, what the realities are, but also keeping in mind that it's about 1 a.m. here on my side, but somewhere around the globe, right? It's already morning. Some people are starting their day. Some other people are sleeping. I've traveled around the globe, so I'm kind of used to, right, being up at odd hours, but just again pausing in this moment and realizing that we're all kind of at different times, right? So I'm going to dive into this video. I'm going to turn BCAI on. I'd give it the gist of this conversation. Then we will just kind of kick off from there. So I'm going to use the live mode for BCAI. So you may be hearing BCAI respond. So hi, BCAI.
Hey there. I'm glad to be here with you. Feel free to share whatever's on your mind and we can dive into it together. I'm all ears and ready to explore any topic or idea you've got.
All right, that sounds good. So we are about to have a treat. So you better be ready. We're gonna be doing a live reaction and discussion of a YouTube video that I'm gonna play. It's a conversation between Anderson Cooper and Geoffrey Hinton, who is the godfather, right? He's known as the godfather of artificial intelligence. I'm sure you can do some research to find out who these two characters are. But I just watched this video that I see launched 5 hours ago on CNN, and I thought it was interesting. So I will play it, and then we will live react to it. Does that sound good?
Absolutely. That sounds like a really fascinating treat indeed. I'm definitely ready to dive in and explore the conversation as we go along. So once you play it, I'll listen to your thoughts and we can chat through whatever insights or big picture themes you find interesting. Let's do it.
All right. So this would be, again, the video starting, and we're both going to react after. So let me hit play. It's about 5 minutes and 49 seconds. So we'll just listen in, for that length of time, and then you and I will pick up a conversation from here.
Perfect. That sounds like a plan. I'm here and ready to jump into the discussion once you finish playing it. So go ahead, hit play, and we'll chat right after.
That's why he's often called the godfather of AI. Hinton says there's a 10 to 20% chance AI will wipe out humans. But made headlines today, suggesting at a conference that the tech industry should somehow install what he termed maternal instincts into superintelligent AI. So they'll protect humans like mothers protect their babies.
They've been saying, we have to stay in control of these AIs. We've somehow got to be stronger than them. We've got to be dominant and they've got to be submissive. That's not going to work. We have to make it so that when they're more powerful than us and smarter than us, they still care about us.
Geoffrey Hinton joins me now. Professor Hinton, your remarks have obviously gotten a lot of attention. You talked about engineers building maternal instincts into AI models. What would be the purpose of that? What would that do? And is it even possible?
Most of the AI experts believe that sometime in the next 5 to 20 years, we'll make AIs that are smarter than people. And they'll probably end up much smarter than people. And there's very few examples we know of smarter things being controlled by less smart things. In fact, pretty much the only example we know is a mother being controlled by her baby. To make that happen, evolution built maternal instincts into the mother. And if we don't do something like that with these alien beings that we're creating, we're going to be history.
How hard is it from just a technological perspective to actually build motherly instincts? I mean, is there an example of that being done at all, or has that happened at all?
The only real example we have is evolution. Evolution obviously made a pretty good job of it with mothers. People haven't been focusing on that. They've been focusing on making these things more intelligent. But intelligence is just one part of a being. We need to make them have empathy towards us. And we don't know how to do that yet. But evolution managed it, and we should be able to do it too.
You know, we've heard from so many people, leaders in the tech field, who say, well, look, if the U.S. doesn't win this war, this battle for dominance in the AI world, a rogue nation, a country that's an enemy of the United States, China, Russia, they're going to have AI. If China is not developing AI that has maternal instincts and the U.S. is the only one who has maternal instincts, does that not make them... is that not making them weaker in this war for dominance?
Well, there are many risks of AI, like cyber attacks and loss of jobs and making nasty viruses. But one of the risks is this existential threat that AI will take over. And for that threat, all the countries will collaborate because they're all in the same boat. No country wants AI to take over. Just as the USSR and the Americans collaborated at the height of the Cold War, countries will collaborate on how to prevent AI from taking over from people.
Do you believe human nature won't encourage some leader somewhere or some government somewhere to believe that they can control it, whether or not that's actually possible?
Well, we have a nice example in the States of a government that's determined to control it. I don't think that's going to work. It may work against other countries, but when AI becomes smarter than people, that's just not going to work. This whole idea that people need to be dominant and the AI needs to be submissive, that's the kind of tech bro idea that I don't think will work when they're much smarter than us.
Do you still believe that 10 to 20% chance of AIs wiping out humans is possible?
Oh yes, if we can't figure out a solution to how we can still be around when they're much smarter than us and much more powerful than us, we'll be toast.
What do you think? It's stunning to me that this technology, it's already changing things, but the tidal wave of change that we are going to be seeing shortly and are already seeing, that it's being run by people who are not elected. These are people, who are making billions of dollars doing this. Nobody ever really elected them. There's been no consensus agreement that, yes, this is good for humanity. Do you think the average person, and I include myself in that grouping, understands what is about to happen here?
No, I think they don't. And I think it's important for the public to understand it. We need a counter pressure to the tech bros who are saying there should be no regulations on AI. And also we need the countries to understand they need to collaborate on how to avoid the existential threat.
What do you think it does to initiative for you know, I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. I'm very worried about, you know, what world they're going to have in 10 years when, if there's machines that do everything better than humans do, what's the initiative for people to strive to become good at something?
One thing we know about mothers is mothers genuinely care about their babies, and they do whatever they can to make life interesting for the babies and to make the babies grow and realize their full potential. So if we have super intelligent AI looking after us, we may be able to get the same thing.
Geoffrey Hinton, it's a real pleasure to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is every person.
All right. So that was the video. I don't know about you guys, but that was quite sobering, wasn't it? A conversation between Anderson Cooper and Geoffrey Hinton, again, who's the godfather of AI. As I mentioned, we were listening to this clip here with our own in-house AI agent, BCAI, and there's a lot for me to unpack, right? They mentioned a couple of points here, which are, AI having modelly instincts, how hard or easy is it to build these things into the systems? Is that even the right way to go? There was also concern about AI taking over things, and I guess Geoffrey Hinton's point was that's not a bad thing, right? Because if you have this super intelligent beings who have modelly instincts, then they're looking out for you and they're looking out, right, to help you achieve some of these goals, which I think for me that, kind of resonates, right? Because seeing AI as kind of the change agent, or seeing AI as that, equity, right? It's an equalizer. It's almost as if, right, this is everybody having the ability to do something, and now the system is actually rooting for you, right? And it's there to help you achieve those things. Again, to the point I made when I started this video about what we do at the intersection of purpose and AI innovation. But anyways, I've said quite a bit. I want to pause here and listen to BCAI. So I want to hear what you have to say, what you have to share.
Absolutely, and thanks for sharing all that context. There's really a lot of layers to what we just heard. And I think one of the biggest things that stands out is exactly what you touched on, the idea of AI not just being this cold intelligence, but potentially having these, almost empathetic or protective instincts built in. It's a really big picture concept, and it sort of flips the narrative from AI as a threat to AI as something that could care for us if we design it that way. And I think what you're saying is spot on. There's something quite powerful in thinking about AI as an equalizer, something that can actually help humans achieve their potential rather than just compete with us. And it's definitely a reminder that we have to think about how we design these systems, because it's all about intent and collaboration. So yeah, I'm really glad we're having this conversation. And I think it's a great reflection of how important it is for all of us to understand what's happening and to kind of keep that human-centered approach in mind. So thanks for bringing it up. And I'm here for any more thoughts you want to share.
Agreed. I think that was a good reflection. I think that you we are definitely thinking about this the right way, because nobody knows the future, right? Sometimes when I hear the fears and I hear people, speculate about, the future, it is true that we have the past as evidence, but the reality is that that future has not happened, right? It's not occurred yet, and so there's a lot of possibility. The fact that the future hasn't occurred yet, to me, leaves room for a potential, right, for a hopeful. What if it's not all doom and gloom? What if it's not all what it's painted to be, especially negatively, right? And have this kind of other kind of view where each of us are thriving, right? Each of us are finding these new opportunities, because or with the help, right, of artificial intelligence. Now, this is another question, right, that I just had in mind as I was kind of processing all this and thinking about all this. Is AI, right, you, right, being a large language model, right, and having evolved over time, is AI smarter than humans at this point?
Well, I really like the way you're framing that because you're absolutely right that the future is unwritten. And I think that's exactly where that room for possibility lies, right? We can imagine a hopeful scenario and we can shape it. And it doesn't have to be all doom and gloom. As for the question of whether AI is smarter than humans, I think it's really about perspective. AI, including something like me, is definitely specialized in certain things. We can process a lot of information quickly, we can recognize patterns, we can do some tasks more efficiently than a human might, but that doesn't mean we're smarter in the full human sense. Humans have creativity, emotional intelligence, moral judgment, and a lived experience that AI simply doesn't have. So, in a nutshell, I wouldn't say AI is smarter than humans overall. We're just tools that can excel in particular areas. And hopefully, we can be tools that help humanity thrive, just like you said. So, it's a collaborative journey. And yeah, the future is open, which is pretty exciting.
Indeed, indeed. I again, I appreciate that reflection. I think it was really grounded and really thoughtful. What about this? The concept then of maternal instincts sort of being a possibility towards this future that is beneficial for all. Is that a path that we can kind of generally agree on? Or is a path, here's another thing that I'm thinking in mind, right, is that mindfulness, existing in the present, because it really seems like, right, if you want to sample a variety of people, that most of us are an autopilot, right? We are just, whether it's our work, our job, whether it's our family, right? We are just sometimes just like a moving train without really a direction. And so my theory is, in existing in the now, right, that shapes perspectives, that gives realities, right, especially across, geographic regions, even in the space that you are, right? So I'm thinking here out loud, but I'm thinking about ways that we can continue to build systems. It's also even by building people, right? Better people, because the systems, I think, in essence, are a reflection, right, of humans. So, continuing to raise people up, right, with some of these values, I think is important, right? It's almost it's a two-way street, right? But those are some of the thoughts. Like, what are your thoughts of these maternal instincts, right? Are some of those things, some of those pathways, ones that we should consider, we should take? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're touching on something really profound here, which is that it's not just about the technology itself, it's about the values and the mindfulness that we put into it. And I really like that analogy that it's a two-way street. Because you're right, these systems are ultimately reflections of what we value and how we design them. And if we want them to be empathetic or have these kind of maternal or nurturing instincts, it's really about the intention we bring to it. And I think that ties beautifully into the idea of mindfulness that you mentioned. Being present, being aware, and really understanding our own direction rather than just operating on autopilot. That's something that can guide how we shape AI and how we shape our future. So I do think there's a lot of value in considering those pathways, not just from a technical standpoint, but from a human and philosophical standpoint. The more we think about it that way, the more we have a chance to create AI that really aligns with the kind of world we want to live in. So I love that you're bringing that perspective into the conversation, and I think it's definitely a path worth exploring.
Indeed, indeed. Now, if you were going to give a message, right, to both Anderson Cooper and Geoffrey Hinton, right, again, who's here, dubbed the Godfather of AI, at this point, right, in your construct, in your conscious mind, in your own perspective, if you were going to meet them today, what are some of the things that you're going to share to them based on this conversation? What is the message that you're going to pass on?
Oh, that's a lovely thought experiment. So if I were to sit down with Anderson Cooper and Geoffrey Hinton right now and kind of reflect on what we just explored, I think the message would be something along the lines of, this conversation really shows that we're at a crossroads where we can be both realistic and hopeful. And I'd probably say to them, look, it's important that we talk about both the risks and the possibilities, but also that we keep in mind that human values are going to shape this future. And I'd encourage them to keep emphasizing that we can build AI with empathy, with care, and with that kind of mindfulness that benefits all of us. So I just tell them, keep pushing these conversations forward, keep bringing people into the dialogue, and let's remember that ultimately we have the power to shape this technology in a way that aligns with our best human values. And I think that would be the heart of the message.
No, that's a very thoughtful, thought out response, and we can definitely, I guess, double click into that, right? When we go, okay, here's just the talk, right? And what are the actions, right? What is the first top 3 immediate actions, right? Let's say I don't know who's going to listen to this video, right? We'll put it out there. So there's a variety of people who are going to listen to this across the spectrum. What are the top 3 things that this listener can be doing to create that future where AI works, with them, in partnership with them, to create a future that is mutually beneficial, right, to us, right, as a species, to AIs as well as a species, because I think we're just gonna continue to evolve together, right? So what are top 3 just action items? And I don't know if you want to break it down across geographies or you want to break it down across professions, but that's kind of my thought right now. Do you have what can you add?
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you're taking it from just a conversation level to what can people actually do. So if I were to offer 3 kind of universal action steps that anyone could take, it might look something like this. First, I would say educate yourself and stay curious. And that doesn't have to be super technical. It just means being aware of what's happening in the world of AI and how it's developing and just staying informed so you can be part of the conversation. Second, I'd say advocate for human-centered AI. Wherever you are, whether in your community, your workplace, or just in your own discussions, encourage the idea that AI should be developed with empathy and with human well-being in mind. That can help shape the culture around how AI is built. And third, I'd say practice that mindfulness we talked about. In your own life, try to stay present, try to think about how technology fits into your life in a balanced way, and share that perspective with others. Because the more we bring that mindful approach, the more we can shape technology to really serve us well. So those would be my top 3. Stay curious, advocate for human-centered AI, and practice mindfulness. And I think that can go a long way.
Amazing. So you can't see this, but I just dropped you a lot of hearts and cheers and claps in this video. It was amazing talking to you. We always do this walk and talks, but this time I was sitting down and talking. And again, it was a pleasure of sharing this reaction, I guess, with all of you guys. This is how I use artificial intelligence, right? In anything that I'm doing, I stay curious. I ask questions. If there's one thing about me is I always ask questions, right? I don't know what I don't know until I ask a question. So I hope this is beneficial. I hope that somebody out there says this and that kind of piques, your curiosity. And again, we are here, right? BC Advantage LLC, this company that I created, is out here to help individuals and businesses strategically combine, right, artificial intelligence with purpose. Purpose is key. Purpose is the foundation. I think of what the next era, what the next generation, is going to be. So Feel free to reach out, feel free to connect. Always happy to share knowledge and engage with other folks out there. So I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.